What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Boleros podcast. It's me, Gab, and with me, as usual, is the legend, the prophet himself, Mr. Maui up. Say hi, Mau.
Hello, hello. We're back again with another episode. Laki ng ngiti mo, Gab.
Laki, malaki. First of all, kami ng dalawa. Wala si Sammy. He's in Singapore. I think he's on vacation. Yung kasama yung family niya and yung anak niya. So I'm sure he's gonna watch this and he's gonna be angry at the title because I'm gonna put it. Finally, may closer tayo, Maui. Mas malaki ang bird ng Ateneo for season 86. Decisive. Decisive. Mas malaki ang bird ng Ateneo for season 86. And that's gonna be that's gonna be on the title of this episode. Wala kang magagawa, Sammy Santos. I'm sorry. Yun ang ilalagay kong title. So let's get right to it. To the game. Ateneo won 70-48 in a very convincing win over the Adamson Falcons. Kahit na may free throw disparity, I don't think Coach Nash can contest that anymore. Sobrang decisive yung win. Maui, let's get right into it. Maui, what are your initial reactions from the Battle of the Birds Part 3?
What a game. What a game by Ateneo. Ito na naman Ateneo. Niloloko na naman tayo.
You have turned the corner, Maui.
That's been our main storyline for Ateneo the whole season. Ateneo finally turned the corner. And I think it's a bit too late for me if ever they have turned the corner. They will go up against UP on Saturday with UP having a twice to beat advantage. That's a very big mountain to climb, in my opinion. But general reaction to today's game, I thought that Ateneo really did a good job limiting Adamson's 3-point shots. The closeouts were very good. It was a welcome sight kasi Bongo even started the game, and I think this is Bongo's best game.
Best game, yes. Best game.
Yeah,
I've hated on him the whole season, but he played well.
Yeah, I think si Bongo really played a good game a while ago. Yung effort, you could really see it. And he wasn't forcing, Gab. Yung hate mo before, he was forcing going to the paint, not knowing what to do. I think he was very decisive. When he attacked the paint, he was looking to score, definitely. He had a good layup. I thought that Ateneo really did a good job preparing for this game. Siguro may added motivation with all that's happening with Coach Tab and Coach Nash. But yeah, Ateneo really...
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that, definitely. Ateneo played a really good game. I thought that si Chris Cuno also provided a boost. As usual, when he wasn't scoring, he was doing the dirty things like rebounding, defending. I also loved si Josh Nieto. I think yung feistiness talaga niya on defense is very good. I think that will definitely earn him playing time in season 87. I think that him continuing to improve, definitely his bag on the offensive end will be beneficial. But for me talaga, Gab, yung defense ni Josh Nieto is what's really keeping him in the game. I thought that Mason...
Definitely.
I think that Coach Tab really did a good job putting Mason Amos in when Cedric Manzano was off the floor. If you watch the game, you would see that when Manzano is about to sub in, Obasa will immediately run to the scorer's table and substitute for Mason. But as usual, Mason provided yung scoring boost niya. I think he scored in double figures despite limited minutes. But definitely the star of the show has to be Jared Brown. I mean, this is redemption time for him. I think he shot 1 for 9 against LaSalle, and he definitely played his game of the season when it mattered. I think he hit 3-point shots nung first quarter. And to me, yung most impressive to me during this game is not just a 3-point shots, but he found ways to score that's not a 3-point shot. He had a few floaters. One of them had a lucky bounce. He had he had definitely Jared Brown did a good job. I think
That's when you know you have it going, Maui. Pang yung mga tirang ganun, nag-bounce in na, alam mong it's your game eh.
yeah, it's really your game. Yeah, I think si Jared Brown really did a good job setting the tone. When he opened up with a 3-point shot, and I mentioned he hit three 3-point shots nung first quarter, ending up with 20 points. You know that Ateneo is gonna win if Sean Kitevis is hitting 3 out of 4 3-point shots. Also, that's another thing. I think si
And
Kitevis
he was
really did a good.
smiling at the Adamson bench.
Yeah.
Because they weren't guarding him at
They
all.
weren't guarding him at all. Grabe yung sag ng defense if you watch the game. The defenders were just helping on the post kay Obasa or kay Balungay or si Kun. And Kitevis definitely made them pay by hitting tiny 3-pointers. I think if Ateneo is to beat UP, at least once Kitevis has to be aggressive and to hit those shots. Not just hit those shots, but definitely look to score. I think that's one thing that he did a while ago. Although there were times na he just didn't really want to shoot it. But I think aggressive Sean Kitevis going into the paint or shooting that 3-point shot will definitely give Ateneo a bigger chance against a juggernaut such as UP. I know in Twitter, in X, people are a bit reactive as to why Ateneo is branded as the underdog again because of Coach Tab. But come on, guys. Ateneo's really the underdog for
Wait,
this.
wait. There's an argument for that? What? we're, we're 7-7.
Yeah. There is still an argument for that, believe it or not. Despite Ateneo having a 7-7 record. But yeah, definitely a welcome sight. Ateneo getting back to the Final Four. I think this is the biggest deficit in a knockout game in UAAP history. This is per Pong Ducanes. Knockout games usually are decided by 5 points or less per Sir Pong's tweet. But yeah, on the Adamson side, I thought that they really did a poor job executing it during this game. It didn't help that Ateneo really prepared on how to shut down Cedric Manzano and Montebon. Montebon, I think, only had one field goal, a turnaround, fall away, heavily contested shot. He shot 1 for 8, I think. But yeah, definitely Ateneo had Adamson's number. I think Coach Nash even deciding to put Jerome Lastimosa nung end ng second quarter was like waving the white flag for me, in my opinion. But yeah, I think one of the things I also wanted to say is what way for Coach Tab to really welcome yung exit ni Jerome, giving him that opportunity to shoot a 3-point shot. And as usual, Jerome being the clutch person he is, he hit that 3-point shot to cap off his UAAP career. But yeah, definitely that was a welcome sight. Gab, what are your key thoughts after this game?
Well, my first key thought was you mentioned it already. Coach Tab prepared for Cedric Manzano. He knows that he's the key. He's the guy who dominates in the paint. He's the guy who gets offensive rebounds, second chance points for Adamson. And as you said, Maui, every time Cedric Manzano was on the scorer's table, Joseph Abasa was coming in the game. He did not. He knows that Cedric Manzano is a strong dude. And he is. Grabe talaga. I was telling my dad when we were watching his game. Every time he would get an offensive rebound, score in the paint, use his elbows and his shoulders to create space. Tingin lang kami, parang, this guy is amazing inside. He's just amazing inside. He knows how to score. But yeah, he did not have 16 points and 10 rebounds, unlike the one in UP. I mean, he was matched up with Joe Obasa, who is a very strong dude himself and a lot taller than Cedric
Taller.
Manzano.
7 inches
Diba?
yata.
Yep. And a conscious effort by Coach Tabs and the coaching staff to get Cedric Manzano out of the game. And of course, he was also in foul trouble. He had 4 fouls. And come on, Cedric, hindi ka pwede magreklamo. Nanunulak ka sa loob eh. Come on, bro. Yung that's how you create space. Just so happens na nahuhuli ka. But yeah, he's amazing, yung Cedric Manzano, and that was one of the keys to victory for Ateneo. On the offensive side, Chris Kuhn, despite only having 3 points or 2 points, was a plus 10. So tama ka, Maui. Despite having a bad shooting night, he was able to contribute in other ways. Again, the leadership on the floor, his size on the defensive end is really key for Ateneo. And yeah, of course, I would not be we would not be on heading to the Final Four without Jared Brown. And I've said this over and over again. He's the one guy on this team who has the balls to take shots. Pull up fast break threes, off the catch threes, pull up threes off a pick and roll. He's just willing to take shots. And honestly, I think he has to be that guy now. He can't be shy. He can't be gun shy anymore, especially in the Final Four against UP. He has to score, especially when a guy like Chris Kuhn and Kai Balunga don't have it for that game. He has to score, and I was happy that he was hitting his shots. Again, he has balls, and he will need to have more balls on Saturday against UP. He has to score for Ateneo to have a chance. Yeah, and Sean Ketevis, I noted that earlier. three pointers, and when they had Cedric Manzano on him or Barasi, and they're just leaving him outside. Go Sean Ketevis.
18% though, Gabi. 18%.
Yeah.
Sean Ketevis is hitting 18% from 3-point land.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the right way to play Sean Ketevis. We've said this since the preseason. It's actually amazing to me na it took the UAAP teams until the second round when Ateneo faced UP to finally figure out that you can leave Sean Ketevis alone. Just play the percentages. Just so happens na a while ago he hit his shots, but moving forward, I think you have to, if you're UP or any other team, you really have to leave Sean Ketevis outside. You have to dare him to shoot, because I think you'll take that. You'll take that shot any day. If he makes it, hats off. If he does it, that's a win for you. And yeah, he was smiling at the Adamson bench every time he hit a shot, because like, you're really not guarding me, because they weren't really guarding him. A few more notes. Gio Chu was out of the rotation. He was not in the rotation. I think that was one of the reasons we were consistently good, and we didn't have a bad third quarter. Maui didn't have a bad third quarter. We Coach Tab went with the front court rotation solely of Obasa, Amos, Balungay, and Josh Lazaro. I don't know if that will stick against UP, because they have Malik Juf and Sean Alter and Pablo. Sino ba yung mga centers nila? Lopez, yung
Belmonte.
Yung
they have
Belmonte,
bigger and
yung
stronger
big
and longer players.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to last until the UP game. I don't know if Gio will probably have to play a few minutes, as much as that hurts me to say. He will probably have to play some spot minutes against UP just for his size alone. What else? Yeah, and I also had in my notes, Andrew Bongo, just a fast break layup, two good contests of Adamson fast breaks, which led to missed layups by Adamson. Yep. He just went straight up. He just jumped straight up, contested it very well. I think that's what Coach Tab loves about him, his defense. Offense, the whole season, I've been critical about him. I've hated on him a lot because he's slow. He does not make a decision. But as you said, Maui, he was very decisive a while ago. And I hope he plays like that against UP if he's in the rotation. Some other notes from this game. What did you think about the Jerome Lastimosa going to the game? I was shocked. Honestly, why are you in this game?
Yung second quarter,
actually,
we're talking about the second quarter.
Yeah. At first, I thought he was just gonna stand in the corner, just be like a decoy. Then he was moving. I'm like, bro, stop moving. Stop moving. Jerome, stop. Baka ma-injure ka pa. Bro, stop it na. I don't know. What were your thoughts when Jerome entered the game?
Parang, honestly, parang feeling ko si Chris Kuhn himself was very, very nervous of what might happen if he goes hard on Lastimosa. I don't know. I just felt it.
He
It
was.
looks like
Yeah.
Chris, di ba? Parang Chris Kuhn was very uncomfortable that Lastimosa was in the game during the latter part of the second quarter. Definitely, I was caught off guard. I think I was talking to some friends on online during the game. Everyone was texting kasi why is Jerome? Why is Jerome in the game? It's still the second quarter. I mean, you'd understand yung fourth quarter, yung ending. But the second quarter, it was really crazy. They were looking to end half on a high note. And then Coach Nash, out of nowhere, just decided to put Jerome Lastimosa in. I was very nervous, to be honest. I didn't want any more injuries to Jerome.
Less than a month from his full ACL tear. Less than a month.
Parang,
What the hell?
I don't know, yung isa kong friend sabi, parang it's already torn, so what more can happen? I mean, there are other ligaments in the knee. That would be crazy.
Exactly. There are other ligaments in the knee.
Diba? I was very anxious. I was very nervous the whole time, definitely during that happening. I was just hoping to end the half without anything bad happening, to be honest. Kahit naman nung first time kahit naman when Jerome played initially during the second round, when he entered, I was very nervous and it ended badly. So thankfully, Jerome Lastimosa didn't suffer any more injuries a while ago.
Yeah, and good point on Chris Kuhn. Yeah, I was looking at Chris Kuhn's face, and he was looking at Jerome Lastimosa, and then looking at the bench. Am I really gonna guard him? Because he's right there. We're still a close game. It's only the second quarter. What is he doing? So, yeah, ako rin, same Maui when he was in the game. Tapos nung gumagalaw na siya, kinakabahan ako na sobra. Like,
Hinihintay ko na matapos yung half, to be honest.
Ako
Gusto ko
rin
na mag-halftime.
why? Nung end ng game na yung naintindihan ko, and
Yeah.
you know, the guys were Ateneo were just letting him shoot. I mean, the game was over, and we're like, go ahead, shoot. My other note from this game was Kyle Gamber did not want to give it to Jerome Lastimosa the first. I don't know if you caught this. When Kyle Gamber got the when Kyle Gamber got the rebound in that last play, he brought it up the court. Everyone was telling him, give it to Jerome. He was like, no. He didn't want to give it. It's like, why would I do that? And then finally, I think peer pressure caught up to him. And then when I think it was Gio. Yeah, it was Coach Sandy, Coach Tab, Gio Chu, and Ian Espinosa were all telling him, just give it to Jerome and let him take the shot. Thankfully, he hit it. It would have been very anticlimactic
No?
if he had missed the shot.
Yeah. Kasi he was able to take, I think, 2 shots before that, diba? 2 3-point shots.
Yeah.
And actually, Gab, it makes sense right now to me. While Kai Gamber was in the part of the Ateneo half, yung pala Kai Gamber didn't want to pass it to Jerome for the final shot.
Yeah, he didn't want it. His face was, I think Giochi was the first to approach him and tell him, you give it back. And he was like, no.
I didn't want to
give it back. I gotta turn over. He already had 1 turnover and 3 missed shots. I'm like, I ain't getting another turnover, man. But he reluctantly gave it back to Jerome, and Jerome hit the shot. Yeah, but on Adamson's side, one of the reasons why they got blown out is that they settled a lot for jump shots and contested 3-point shots. I thought they did not attack the paint a lot in this game. Diba? And there was a 14-7 free throw disparity. So, unahan ko na kayo. The reason for that disparity is Adamson was not attacking the paint. They were settling a lot for jump shots. And even Montebon, when he got into the paint, he was settling a lot for fadeaway jump shots, turnaround. So, I thought Adamson could put a lot more pressure on the rim and to Joe Obasa and to Mason Amos, so that they could draw more fouls and open it up more for their shooters. Because honestly, a lot of their 3-point shots were tough contested threes. So, and they rely a lot on those threes, diba? You, like we said in the previous Battle of the Birds, Adamson gets close because they can hit threes. When they hit a lot of threes, they're able to open up the floor and they're able to get on runs. That's their offense. But a while ago, aside from the first half where they did hit a couple of threes, in the second half they just couldn't. They were all well contested and they just couldn't get enough baskets. I think they only scored I think they were 30 in the first. So they only scored like 18 in the second half. Tama ba?
22.
The final score was
22. 26 sila nung half.
Yung,
Yeah, and then they scored 22 nung second half.
Yeah.
Without Jerome's three
Again,
pa, that would have been less, diba? You're right, Gab, actually.
Yep.
19
Diba?
points without a Jerome three. But yeah, I think something to factor also is they really had to give them all of their efforts during the last two games also. I think that's a big factor.
Pagod din.
Napagod din. I mean, the game was just last Sunday. It was a highly emotional game. And they also had to play really well against NU also, not just with the UE game. I think naubusan na siguro yung players. And yeah, definitely credit to Coach Tab. I think nung pressure niya, he gave credit to his coaching staff for really preparing the players well for this game. I think they really did a good job. It's basically, I think, both Ateneo having a defensive masterclass and Adamson really just having no energy. Parang matamlay na sila and not being able to execute the way that they want to. It didn't help siguro that Ateneo also went on, I think the game started 8-0 ba, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So another thing where we have to get to, Maui, is we saw Coach Tab and Coach Nash have a verbal exchange in the sidelines, which led to double technical fouls. And in the end game, Coach Nash refused to shake Coach Tab's hand. What are your thoughts on that? On this quote-unquote rivalry? Has Coach Tab have a rivalry now with Coach Nash?
For me, marami pang bigas kailangan kainin si Coach Nash because before you can consider Coach Tab as a rival. Si Coach Olsen pa, the other Racela, has been an adversary to Coach Tab during previous years. But yeah, it didn't, as usual, Coach Nash with his off-court antics this season. This was a distasteful. This is not distasteful taste to the mouth again to most of the fans. Definitely, if you ask Ateneans about this, they will just, they're again disappointed and mad at Coach Nash. I don't think that not shaking Coach Tab's hand was warranted. I think Coach Tab even giving Jerome's moment should have taken off all the pressure, all the hate that Coach Nash has. I mean, Coach Tab just is also looking out for the players. I mean, it really didn't sync well with me. I didn't understand why Coach Nash had to do that. Actually, Gab, I told you this off air, diba? I didn't notice it. I just noticed it when some of the people on X mentioned that Coach Nash didn't shake Tab's hand, Coach Tab's hand. And it's not a good end to the season. I mean, we've been talking about Coach Nash outperforming when it comes to their performance on the court. But off the court, definitely this season has been a bad taste in the mouth. It's very distasteful. It's not good. It doesn't look good on any fronts. I mean, it's about sportsmanship. And Ateneo just showed sportsmanship when they gave Jerome Lastimosa the chance to end his career on a bang. And I don't understand. Even in the press conference, I think si Coach Nash tried to steer up another mess with him saying that when he was asked what Coach Tab mentioned, he had to say that it's not for children, it's R-rated. So yeah, definitely did not sync well with me again. I've mentioned this in our previous episodes, Gab. I think we share mostly the same sentiments. We admire the performance of Adamson definitely on the court, but off the court, it's not been good this season. I think si Sam shares the same sentiments with how Coach Nash has handled the media also. Definitely. And just a final note, I saw actually an article that reprimanded Coach Nash for his comments dun sa officiating. And I'm still wondering what the punishment is. They haven't announced, and they haven't announced it
Wala.
actually. Some people were
Reprimand
speculating
lang.
about suspension eh, diba? But maybe it's just a verbal reprimand, I don't know. But definitely they have to control the coaches. Coach Nash has to do better off the court. Uh, there are many fans of him outside Adamson. I used to be one. Definitely not that much of a fan right now because of his off-court antics. So hopefully he does better in during season 87. I expect him to be back. He'll definitely be back. Gab, what are your thoughts on what happened again with Coach Nash?
Uh, really funny. I'm very interested what was the exchange between the two. And what were they arguing about? There wasn't like there was a contested call or a bad call by the refs or a bad play by one of the players. I mean, I didn't see anything that would warrant them having an exchange like that. And after that, Coach Nash kept on egging on Tab Baldwin. I don't know if you saw this, Maui. He kept on
Yeah.
clapping back, yung despite Coach Tab not paying him any attention. He was still trying to engage Coach Tab. So I honestly don't know idea what started it during the game and why it had to go there. But that was funny. And the ref had to stop it when they were. That was the
Yung ref,
first. This is
yung ref
honestly.
pa na malayo, yung ref pa na malayo yung nagtigil, which was crazy.
Honestly, Maui, I have never seen anything like this before. The refs,
Coaches eh.
the ref going to the coaches and giving each of them technical fouls for jawing at each other. This is the first time I've ever seen it in the UAAP. Maybe our subscribers can recall a similar incident, but for me, this is a first. This is a first. This, just what a moment. What a moment. And I actually didn't notice that they were jawing to each other until the ref from the far side of the
Ako
court
rin.
just went
Nagulat ako.
and they just whistled two technical fouls to the coaches. Why? And then I saw, oh, they're fighting. That's crazy. That's crazy. I've seen coaches come to blows. I mean, I think I've seen that before, but never this. Just they're shouting from the opposite end of the scores table, like whatever they were saying. But yeah, so that's it for our recap. Now let's go, Maui, to some previews for the Final Four. Let's leave the Ateneo first. So since we've talked about Ateneo already, so the Ateneo UP game, we'll talk about it second. Let's go first to the LaSalle NU game. What do you think is going to be a key for both teams to pull off this win? Let's go first with LaSalle. What's going to be the key for them to pull off this win?
Yeah, I think yung key talaga sa Lasal is to show yung yung stability nila and able to withstand yung pressure. I think they've shown that in the second round. They're more composed. They run their sets with patience. I think si KQ has to continue to lead by example. I think yun yung most important. KQ not rushing things. KQ not ball hogging, just trying to facilitate. And si Evan Nelly and KQ will definitely set the tone for Lasal. And they're riding on an 8-game winning streak. They're the hottest team in the UAAP. I think, Gab, yung comments mo from our previous episode would give a preview on what you think LaSalle and NU would look like. But yeah, definitely on the LaSalle side, just being composed, just focusing on the game and really imposing their will. They're definitely a bigger team. Mike Phillips is, I think, finally healthy also based on his performance during the previous game. But yeah, on the Lasal side, it's fairly simple. On NU side, definitely they have to execute better. Based on their previous performances, it has not looked good. I think si Figueroa has been one of the bright
Lessen
spots.
turnovers. I have
Definitely,
that.
definitely lessen their turnovers. Try to facilitate better. Steve Nash is back. He played last game, so maybe having Steve Nash back can help them stabilize again yung offense nila. I think Gab, we have to agree that yung defense naman ng NU has always been there. It has been consistent.
Yeah.
Isilibin din yung offensive end, which has been a recurring problem since season 85. So yeah, I think they have to get Kian Baclahan going better. Kian Baclahan has been a marked man with Steve Nash not healthy. And I think having Steve Nash back will be beneficial for NU. But definitely, if you're talking about favorites, I'd have to go with LaSalle. Not just because they have the twice to beat advantage, but I think that they can end the game on Saturday. To be honest, NU's going trending on the wrong direction. LaSalle is continuing to trending up. I think yung momentum ng LaSalle is will be too much for NU to handle. Position to position, definitely. LaSalle has Kevin Kiambao, the best player in the UAAP, in my opinion, the MVP. They have a point guard capable of matching up also with one of the top point guards, Kian Baclahan, Evan Nele. And they also have Mark Nonoy, who has really played well during the second round. Yung, much like Kevin Kiambao and Evan Nele, I think he has been very composed nung second round. Not rushing shots, not having those usual Mark Nonoy moments ng game that he looks rushed. I think that's key for LaSalle. On the NU side, I think that really si Steve Nash is just showed how valuable he is. Having a healthy Steve Nash for Saturday will be a must for them to be able to execute better. And as you mentioned, Gab, they have to control their turnovers, especially with the team against LaSalle who thrives on transition points. And yeah, we'll see what happens on Saturday, but I'm not very optimistic with NU. Similar to your comments from the previous episode.
Yeah. My key to NU for winning this game, and you mentioned it, was just to lessen the turnovers. Their past two losses to Adamson and to UP, turnovers just have killed them in the past two games. So they have to execute better. And para hindi naman mabasag ulit yung Starbucks tumbler ni Coach Jeff Napa. 'Di ba? Yung para at least make it last a few weeks, guys. And you, isang Starbucks tumbler. Mahal ang Yep. Mahal ang Starbucks tumbler. So, wag yun naman pabasag kay Coach Jeff Napa. But yeah, for me, the one in my notes here, just lessen turnovers. That's me for NU. For LaSalle, I think they have to hit their threes. That's the way that the floor is gonna open up. The middle of the floor is gonna open up for guys like KQ, guys like Raven Cortez, Janelle Policarpio to get to the basket, to get to that mid range. So that's the key for me for LaSalle, and that's where Mark Nonay comes in. If he can continue to hit threes at the rate that he's going, I think it's gonna be big for LaSalle, especially when they go in transition and get those transition threes. If they can get that to go, I think they'll be in a very good position to make it to the finals. I mean, they're on an 8-game winning streak. I think they're gonna go 9. I don't like NU's chances. Again, I've said in our previous episode, I have just lost all confidence I've lost all confidence in NU, pare. They're just playing so bad right now, and they look like they're finally looking like the same team from last year. Parang nag-regress sila as the season went on. I've said this in our previous episode. So yeah, that's gonna be my keys for both teams. Who's an X factor for each team for you, Maui?
Yeah, I think sa LaSalle yung X factor talaga for me is Janelle Policarpio itong second round. I think he broke out really. He really broke out nung second half. Him and Raven Cortez have broken out nung second round. But I think yung aggressiveness ni Policarpio has really helped Lasal. It used to be that it had to be Nelly or KQ creating off the dribble, and to an extent siguro si Mark Nonoy. But now you can also go to Janelle Policarpio. I think the numbers reflect itself sa second round. He draws a lot of fouls. This was shown nung Ateneo game. Even with centers like Obasa, he's very composed driving to the lane. He rebounds the ball. He's a good slasher. Probably a 3-point shot away from being a very good player also in the UAAP. I think he will be an X factor for Lasal in the playoffs, in the Final Four, and potentially in the finals. I think him playing really well has given Lasal another option to go to. And si Jonel Policarpio is the typical Lasalian that we know. Yung maangas, malakas dating, aggressive, trash talker. I think he reminds the Lasal community what it is to play for Lasal basketball. You no holds barred, you go all in, you go hard. I think this guy will be very good. He's only a rookie this season, but definitely him and Raven Cortez breaking out ng second round was a big factor for Lasal. On the NU side, I think si Omar John ang X factor for me for Lasal and Lasal versus NU. I think si Omar John has had a few bad games consecutively. And I think it really boils down also dun sa execution ng NU. Omar John gets his points mostly on drop passes and good execution made by Steve Nash or Kian Baclaan. I think if he gets going, then maybe they can control the paint, they can rebound the ball well, and definitely limit si Mike Phillips. Si Mike Phillips is another guy that had a very good game against Ateneo. But yeah, definitely getting Omar John going will be a must for me if NU will beat Lasal. I think si Figueroa will definitely be there. Kian Baclaan, whether scoring or facilitating, will always be a threat. Si Steve Nash will stabilize everything. But if I were to pick a player for NU, definitely si Omar John on both ends of the court. He has to set the tone. How about you, Gab?
Actually, same tayo ng pick, Maui, for NU. For me, it has to be Omar John. He's the one guy with an advantage over Lasal. He's way bigger than any of their big men. I don't think Bright Nuanco is going to play that much. I think it still has to be Raven Cortez and Mike Phillips manning the center spot for Lasal. So Omar John has to get his game going. He can't just score less than 5 points. He can't just have less than 10 rebounds. He has to dominate the glass. He has to protect the rim. He has to have more than 10 points. I mean, tama ka, Maui, the past few games he's been pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
And if NU is going to have a chance, they have to get those inside points from Omar John. And I would add also to my boy, PJ Palacielo. If you can have some inside, again, no? Si
Ito na
PJ
yun.
Palacielo.
Labas na.
Ito na yun.
Laban na ng big man eh. Laban na ng big man ang Lasal NU.
Yup. Kung ako, PJ, mag-dominate ka na, pare. Mag-dominate ka na. Try as much as possible to get your baskets inside. Get the Lasal players, the Lasal front court into foul trouble. I think you can do it. You're a lot stronger than any of the Lasal front court. But yeah, the two big men have to get it going for NU because they don't have a lot of shooting, as we've said. No, they struggle a lot from the outside. So if they can get points inside, it will definitely help them keep up with the Lasal offense because they're really outmatched offensively. I think we can both agree, Maui.
Yeah.
Offensively, lamang Lasal. Defensively, I think you could give the edge a bit to NU. They're a bit more solid on the defensive end. So if they can get some offense going, especially in the paint, inside baskets, I think that will do them well and give them a chance to pull off this upset and force a do or die. For Lasal, my key player, actually, you mentioned, Davis, has to be Raven Cortez. In the round 2 win against NU, Raven Cortez has a pretty good game, mainly off Evan Nele or Kevin Cambao passes from the pick and roll. And because he doesn't have to be at the rim to score baskets. This is the difference between Raven Cortez and Mike Phillips or Bright Noanco. He can score off floaters, hook shots, short
Mid-range.
stabs, away, mid-range, away from the basket. And that's pretty valuable because Omar John likes to protect the paint. He usually drops and he's around the rim waiting for a layup or a inside stab just to block shots to protect the rim. But in the second round game against LaSalle, he could not defend Raven Cortez because Raven Cortez was shooting floaters over him from the mid range and out of the restricted area. So I put Raven Cortez there. If he can get some easy baskets, it will definitely open a lot of things for the shooters of LaSalle. And as I said earlier, it will hit. They can launch threes and hit threes. I think if they can get their offense humming from Raven Cortez and the shooters, everything will open up and LaSalle will be in very good position. All right. So we've covered the LaSalle NU game. I think you know our picks. Maui's picking LaSalle. I have no confidence in NU. Hence, I'm also going with LaSalle. And I have dalawang Atenista picking LaSalle. I don't think
LaSalle.
it call us biased now. So let's move on to the 1-4 matchup. UP versus Ateneo, a rematch of last season's finals. Same questions, Maui. What is the key for either of these teams to pull off a win? And to add, does Ateneo even have a shot of, of forcing a do or die against the mighty UP? Maui, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yes. To answer your question, Gab, I think Ateneo definitely has the chance to pull off an upset in game one. In game two, if it's a knockout game, that's another question. Maybe we'll tackle it when if it happens, if we get to that. But I think Ateneo has a chance definitely. I think Ateneo has shown, despite having a 7-7 record, that they can go toe to toe against any team. I think NU has been the biggest kryptonite ng Ateneo this season, but UP. Ateneo was able to go head-to-head with UP into two very cardiac arrest type of game. Ateneo even pulled off a victory nung first round. Some people might say nakachamba lang Ateneo. I beg to differ because Ateneo still was able to go toe-to-toe nung second round matchup. But definitely some things to look out for. Some of the things that Ateneo needs to do to win is definitely to get Kai Balungay and Kun going. I think I've been very adamant from the start of the season. These two guys have to hit their shots. Ateneo has to find a way to get these guys to their spots. I think si Coach Tab has also been humming this type of sentiment the whole season sa press conferences, especially on losses and on games that Kun and Balungay has struggled. I think that would be the number one thing for Ateneo if these two guys manage to perform similar to how they performed probably an example probably would be a first round matchup with LaSalle. Then Ateneo definitely has a chance because things will open up definitely for the other players. I think one of the things that Ateneo has to limit against a team like UP is number one in turnovers. UP is a very athletic team. They also thrive in transition. I think they showed that very much nung NU game when NU had a lot of turnovers. There were countless alley-oops to Francis Lopez and other players ng UP. I think they are the most gifted and athletic team. Si Tarkulas is also very athletic. But for Ateneo to win, definitely yung execution talaga will be key. I think in defense ng Ateneo has proven to be average or decent at best to help them contend with the top teams. But really, it boils down to their execution on the offensive end. I think the whole season, this has been the story ng Ateneo, yung inconsistency nila in being able to execute Coach Tab's system. We've seen Ateneo go on quarters where they scored 4 points, 7 points, this can't happen against UP. If they have a quarter that they score single digits, I don't think that they will beat UP this Saturday. And lastly, I think for Ateneo, one of the most important things is similar to what you pointed out, Gab Salasal. Ateneo has to hit their outside shot. Definitely. Jared Brown cannot have a 1 for 12 game or 1 for 9 game similar to what he had against Lasal. Sean Kiteves has to shoot the 3-point shot confidently. UP will definitely sag on him. Guys like Mason Amos, Josh Nieto, and even to a T Public, if si Bongo gets minutes, have to hit their outside shots, because if they don't hit their outside shots, then UP will definitely just clog the paint. UP has Malik Diouf, the best the best player, defensive player in the UAAP, definitely patrolling the paint. They also have, as mentioned, they also have the best collection of guards. So definitely yung yung ball pressure nila will be there. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for Ateneo, but it's possible. Anything is possible, as Adidas says. Impossible is nothing. But on the UP side, on the other hand, I think yung most important thing is, number one, for Malik Diouf to not get into foul trouble. I think yung first round matchup nila against Ateneo, Malik Diouf was in foul trouble. Si Obasa has really done a good job matching up with Diouf sa offensive side. And I think it would be beneficial if Diouf doesn't pick two quick fouls in the first half. I think it's been shown nung second round that UP has really struggled without Malik Diouf. Sean Alter has not been that effective nung second round. Even losing some minutes to Pablo, and even getting some small ball lineups for UP. And I think definitely JD Kagulangan. I'm looking for JD Kagulangan and Harold Alarcon. I think it's playoff time. It's time to show your true colors. It's time to go all in. Definitely these two guys will have to step up. Similar to CJ Cancino. But yeah, definitely UP has the upper hand. They have the best defense and the best offense in the league. So definitely they are the supreme definitely Ateneo is the underdog when it comes to the matchup of these two teams. Despite having very close games, I still think that UP has the edge over Ateneo, definitely. And I think UP showed yung might talaga nila against UNU nung weekend. They showed that they can demolish even the top team in the UAAP. So yeah, Gab, what are your thoughts?
My keys to win for both teams. One, you mentioned it. Not just si Malik Diouf, but every one of the UP lineup. They have to prevent themselves from fouling too much. As I've harped on since the preseason and up to this season, UP loves to play physical defense and they love to gamble. And sometimes that can lead to fouls. Sometimes the refs let it go, but there are times that the refs will call it. You know, because they toe that line. They really do. The UP defenders really toe that line between what's a foul and what's not. So they really force the ref to make a decision. You know, they bump, they hold, they gamble a lot on the defensive end. They reach in a ton of time. So if they can get out of foul trouble and still play that aggressive and scrappy defense, I think they will be in good position to win this game. For Ateneo, just one word for me, pare. Aggressiveness. I want to see that aggressiveness that they showed earlier. If you're gonna drive with aggression, drive looking to score. Because honestly, if you're a defender, you know when someone is driving to pass versus driving to score. Alam mo yun eh. 'Di ba? Alam mo yung tingin ng tao when they're looking to score off a drive eh. But if they're looking to drive and just pass, players can easily close out to Ateneo shooters. And yung like what you said, Maui, Ateneo has to hit those outside shots. But they do have a size advantage. I think you will see the UP zone in this game. They showed it in the second round matchup. They are willing to go zone. So I think UP will go zone. You can see a version of a 2-3, a 1-3-1 zone, or a 1-2-2 zone. They rolled that out in the second round matchup. So I think UP will go to that. I think Coach Gold knows that they do have a size disadvantage at the at the forward slots and at the wings with Chris Kuhn and Balungay and Amos there. And ako pare, kung kay Balungay, if you get it on a post-up, look to score pare. Ang daming times din sa game kanina, Maui,
Yeah.
that Kai Balungay got it on a post-up. He had a guard on him, like Yero or Hanapi, and he didn't even look to score or just get into the paint. He just looked to pass every time. In fairness kay Mason, si Mason, when he got it in a post-up, he looked to score. And he scored once, I think. But yeah, he looked to score, collapse the defense, kick out the shooters. So Kai Balungay, you have to be aggressive. The whole Ateneo team has to be aggressive. You're taking it to 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 the basket and challenge Malik Diouf. I know Malik Diouf is a very imposing defender and he's a top-notch defender. I've said this over and over. But you have to challenge him. You have to force him to work and maybe draw some fouls on him. So now those are my keys to win for both teams. Quickly, as we're going into an hour here, Maui, who is your X factors for both these teams?
Yeah, ang X factor ko, I'll go quickly. I think for UP it has to be LeBron Lopez, Francis Lopez. I think yun yung big difference ng game 1 at game 2. When you look at yung matchup nila nung first at second round, LeBron Lopez was in foul trouble nung game 1 and he didn't really put a stamp on the game. I think nung game 2 he really did a good job making his mark, being felt by Ateneo, yung aggressiveness niya, yung athleticism niya was really felt. On the Ateneo side, I think it has to be Kai Balungay. I think he has to play better. He has to play aggressive. I think the best version of Kai Balungay I've seen this season is the Kai Balungay that catches the boards and goes for those aggressive putbacks, aggressive rebounds. I think he has to be that guy that he has to show his might. You mentioned, Gab, yung size advantage. He has to show that. He has to be aggressive. If his outside shot is not working, then maybe he has to focus on getting those easy baskets. If he gets a smaller defender, then he has to be more aggressive and look to score. I think him and Kuhn are definitely, as I've mentioned, two guys that have to really have big games against UP. As much as I would like to say it has to be Jared Brown. I think si Jared Brown will shoot no matter what, di ba? As you mentioned, Gab. Si Kuhn and Balungay will have to be more aggressive, will have to be more selfish to a T. They have to really look to score for Ateneo to be able to open up the floor. How about you? Who are your X factors?
We had the same for UP. It's Francis Lopez. Agree, no? In the first round meeting, he was in foul trouble, did not get his game going. And you could see the difference in the way UP plays. They didn't have that guy who was athletically more gifted than any other player on the Ateneo side. And the same went for UP in the second round. Francis Lopez was just jumping over everyone, getting easy layups over every defender. So I think Francis Lopez has to have a good game. At least doesn't have to score a lot, but has to impose his will. Being the most athletic guy on the court, he has to do is get into the paint, kick out to UP shooters, and kick out to Abadjano. Maybe he can summon his inner Kobe again and just kill Ateneo again. So if Francis Lopez is aggressive and opening up yung for their guards, it will really help UP. And for Ateneo, you mentioned him, Chris Kuhn. Chris Kuhn has to have a good game. He doesn't have to score a lot. I think he's proven that in the game a while ago. He can be effective despite not scoring. But I do think na he has to score a bit more than
Yup.
just 2 or 3 points. Uh, a lot. Ateneo struggles at offense. They struggle on offense. So they're going to need all the offense they can get. If Jared Brown is not hitting shots, someone has to be aggressive in taking it to the basket. Someone has to be aggressive to score. They cannot have these shot clock violations over and over again, especially in the third quarter, which is UP's strongest quarter. So if they can survive that, I think they'll be in good position. I think they can pull the upset. I am not optimistic that they could pull the upset, but as usual, the Atenean in me is hopeful.
Believing.
Eh, yes,
We believe
we
nga,
still
di ba?
believe. Yun yung ating motto nung 2002 when we last faced the twice to beat advantage. I think, tama ba? We did. That was the last time. Or no. All right. So someone has to correct me. I think that's in my memory. The last time we overcame the twice to beat advantage was in 2002. Just
As
put
a
it that
third seed yun. I saw someone post sa Ateneo group, Ateneo's won the championship as a first seed, second seed, third seed, but as a fourth seed, never. But
Yep.
there have been many cases that Ateneo has been fourth seed. Either they get a twice to beat or don't make it to the final four.
Yep. And that's it. Thank you, Maui. We'll see you. I think we'll see each other on Saturday. It's a 2
Definitely.
p.m. game, guys. In Araneta. Thank you, Lord. Hindi na MOA. I really don't like going that far for a UAP game. But yeah, guys, that's it for this episode. We hope you liked it. If you have any thoughts, you disagree with us, or you have the similar thoughts, leave it down there in the in the comments. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. These are the two Boleros. Again, yung on behalf of Sammy, see you next time.